Hey, welcome to Think Thursday from the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. Think Thursday is all about your beautiful, brilliant human brain. We're talking neuroscience. We're talking behavior change. We are talking about your mindset. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Hey there, it's Molly. Welcome back to Think Thursday from the Alcohol Minimalist. Today, we're going to explore something that you've probably noticed, but maybe haven't had the words for, and that is the way that your brain experiences time. And before we get into this episode, I want to share with you a quote that I heard totally just randomly inside of a book that I've been reading as I was preparing for this episode, and I thought it was so applicable that I wanted to read it. It's from the book Buckeye by Patrick Ryan, and this is what it says. What is it about time that confounds us? We spend it, we save it, we while it away, we waste it, we kill it, we complain about not having enough of it or about having too much of it on our hands. We regret what we've done with it. We give it away. We want it back. We say time and again when something is bothering us, and it's time when something is supposed to end. All we should ever want of time is more of it. I thought that that was such an appropriate quote because the brain experiences time differently than a clock. It doesn't measure minutes like a clock. Instead, it creates a sense of time through novelty, through memory, through attention, and even emotion. Think about it. Why did childhood summers feel endless, but adulthood years seem to fly by? Why does boredom stretch minutes into what feels like hours, while excitement makes entire afternoons vanish? Why do some moments feel like they last forever, while whole months can pass in a blur? Today, we're going to dig into the psychology and the neuroscience of time perception, why our internal clocks warp, and how practices like mindfulness can change the way we live time, making life feel richer, fuller, and more expansive. When we think of time, we imagine seconds ticking evenly, but the brain has no built in stopwatch. Instead, it constructs time from neural activity. Psychologists describe two main types of time perception. The first is prospective time, when you're paying attention to time as it passes, waiting in traffic, standing in line. The more you notice time, the slower it feels. Retrospective time, when you look back on an event, here, of course, memory is key. The more detailed memories that you formed, the longer the experience feels in hindsight. That's why a week of vacation in a new city feels full and expansive, but the following week back at your desk can feel like it disappeared. Same amount of time, but feels very different, right? Research shows our inner clock is also fuzzy. As intervals get longer, the brain's sense of duration becomes less precise. And scientists call this scalar variability, and it is a reminder that subjective time is naturally elastic. And this helps explain why childhood feels longer than adulthood. As children, almost everything is novel. First bike rides, first days of school, first friendships, and novelties create dense, detailed memories. Looking back, those years feel expansive. They feel like, does your childhood not feel like in your entire elementary school and your entire, school 12 years felt like a really, really long time. Now I can look back 12 years ago and think, wow, those 12 years just flew by. Neuroscientist David Eagleman puts it this way: our brains are memory machines, and the density of encoded memories shape our sense of time. Novelty doesn't just shape memory, it also changes our perception of time as it unfolds. A 2024 study showed that people judged time intervals as longer when those intervals contained more discrete experiences. It's not that the brain is measuring seconds, it's counting events. More events, more time. Other research has found that even small novelties, like viewing memorable images, made moments feel longer. Novelty attracts attention. It releases dopamine and enhances memory encoding, which stretches time, both in the moment and in hindsight. And that's why vacations feel expansive, while why new activities stick, and why sameness makes time vanish. Novelty sharpens attention and builds richer records in memory. Now, emotion also plays a powerful role. Under stress or fear, the amygdala activates and floods memory systems with detail. And that is why emergencies often feel like they unfold in slow motion. Under boredom, time drags prospectively because your attention is focused on waiting itself, but creates almost no memories. So those hours collapse when you look back. Under joy or excitement, time can fly. Positive emotions often compress prospective time, and you don't notice that minutes are slipping away. So, our experience of time isn't just about what we do, it's also about how we feel. Now, here is a fun little example of time's flexibility. It's called the stopped clock illusion, also known as chronostasis. Have you ever glanced at a clock and thought the second hand froze for a moment? That's actually your brain filling in a gap when your eyes move. The first second after a gaze shift gets stretched, so it feels longer. It's a small reminder that time isn't something we observe, it's actually something our brains construct. So think about that the next time if you catch yourself with the stop clock illusion. One of the most powerful ways we can influence our sense of time is through mindfulness, choosing to direct our attention to the present. Mindfulness practices like meditation, breathing, or simply noticing sensory details change both prospective and retrospective time. In the moment, prospective time, when you focus on the taste of your coffee, the sound of birds, or the feel of your breath, time feels slower and more spacious. You're not watching the clock, you're inhabiting the moment. In memory, retrospective time, mindfulness enhances memory encoding. The hippocampus stores richer, more detailed information when you're paying attention. Later, when you recall the experience, it feels longer and more vivid. And there's research to support this. A 2019 study in consciousness and cognition found that mindfulness meditation lengthens perceived time and gives people a greater sense of spaciousness. Other studies show mindfulness reduces activity in the wandering mind of the default mode network while strengthening attention networks. And the best part about all of this, mindfulness doesn't have to be a 30-minute meditation session. You can invite your brain into presence in small and ordinary ways. Take one mindful breath before answering an email. Notice the sound of water while you wash your hands. Pause for a moment before stepping into a conversation. Every time you redirect attention to the present, you stretch that moment. And over time, those micro moments accumulate into a life that feels longer, fuller, and more meaningful. Now, here's what amazes me. Clock time is rigid, right? 60 minutes is always 60 minutes. But brain time is elastic. Two people can live the same number of years, yet experience them very differently, depending on how much novelty, how much presence, and how much emotion they build into their days. And that's the opportunity. You can't slow the clock, but you can stretch brain time by choosing how you live it. So here's the takeaway. Your brain doesn't measure time the way a clock does. It measures time through novelty, through memory, through emotion, and through attention. That's why childhood feels long, adulthood feels short, and why certain moments stretch or compress, depending on how you live them. By practicing mindfulness, adding novelty, savoring details, you can change how you experience time, not just in the moment, but in the story of your life. That's all I have for you this week, my friends. Until next time, choose peace, and I will see you on Monday.